It's so good to be back. Missed 2 Sundays, although we were here last Sunday. But if you didn't know, I was on vacation. One of the primary reasons for that was Rachel and I were able to celebrate our 10th year married, which was awesome. Yeah. And so let me just dovetail that into a story. So about a week and a half before we left for the trip, I get a message from the hotel. They reached out to me, and they were like, hey, we have this really cool opportunity coming up. We are bringing in it was a married couple, husband and wife, world-renowned Brazilian chefs. And I say world-renowned in the sense of because I looked them up, they won, their restaurant that they own in Brazil is either a top 50 restaurant in the world or top 100, one of the two. And they're like, hey, we got them coming to the hotel on a Saturday night. They're going to do a 6-course fine dining experience. And we want to give the people who are staying at our hotel priority because it's going to fill up. And so they're like, hey, do you want to take a reservation? Well, a couple things come to my mind. One, my last international fine dining experience did not go well. I know this sounds like totally first world, all that kind of stuff. I was in Italy, and I absolutely hated the food. I know, kill me now. Such a buzzkill. But here's why. When I think fine dining, 2 things come to my mind, and this is almost what I responded to them right away, but then I stopped and paused. One, how expensive is this going to be? I mean, it's like, okay, great, yeah, reservation, but you could give me a $400 bill at the end, And then 2, and honestly more so, is this going to be a bunch of weird food that I've never heard before, and it's all in small portions? You know what I mean? I'm the type of guy. Give me a medium rare steak, big. Give me a Caesar salad. Give me some fries. Honestly, give me just a really good cheeseburger. I honestly would take that over a 6-course fine dining experience where the steak is this size, and then it's weird food that I've never even heard of. You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Anybody else feel this way? Yeah. 9 a.m. wanted to crucify me. So I feel 11 a.m. we're more so on the same page. So I asked them, I'm like, okay, send me the menu. They emailed me back, PDF of it. Sure enough, I should say this. So this hotel was on the coast in Brazil, Atlantic Ocean. And it was a small town. It's like a surfing, fishing community. So I put all this together. I'm like, oh, this is going to be all seafood. I hate seafood. I know. Nasty, now you want to crucify me. So sure enough, going down the PDF, I see stuff like lobster. I see catch of the day, which I've never liked that phrase because that doesn't tell you anything. Is this salmon or is this swordfish? Those taste very different. One's way more fishy than the other. And then I get down a little bit more, and I got to look at my notes for this. I don't know what this stuff is. I see this phrase, smoked pumpkin mousseline. I'm like, what the heck is that? Smoked pumpkin. Are you smoking something when, I don't know. It's really weird to me. And then it gets worse. Then I see this phrase, and I don't know if I'm saying this right, mujol roe. And I'm like, what the heck is that? So I Google it. Now, Google couldn't even give me the answer right away. I had to do some digging, and sure enough, it's pretty much like their version of caviar. Fish eggs. Who wants to eat, pay lots of money to eat fish eggs? You can go fishing with fish eggs. I don't want to eat fish eggs. So, I'm not feeling it. I didn't get to the price yet, but I'm a good husband, right? Hey, Rachel, hotel messaged me, fine dining experience, world-renowned Brazilian chefs. Do you want to do it? She's like, of course I do. This will be great. This is our 10-year wedding anniversary. We're going to have the special dinner, 6 courses. It'll be new. We've never done something like this before. This is going to be an adventure. All this stuff, right? And so I'm just oh, no. So I messaged them back, hey, Lohman's for 2, 7:30 p.m., we're in. So fast forward. We're at the hotel. I know, very sweet, right? Thank you, Peggy. Team Mark. We're there. It's the day of the reservation. Early afternoon. I don't know, like 12 o'clock, 12, 1 o'clock. Outside the pool, just relaxing and reading a book, which to me, that's the dream right there. And I get this urge, and I look at Rachel, because I've been emotionally processing like this 6-course fine dining experience at 7:30. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to go into the town for some lunch. She's like, why? We got a nice dinner tonight. Like, she said, don't eat too much. I said, yeah, how about that one? Because we'd already gone into the small town, 5-minute walk, and it was pretty good food. And the US dollar over the Brazilian, I don't know what it is, something with an R, I mean, it's super strong. So you can get a lot for little. I saw this surf cafe, my type of food. So I leave, walk down to the small town, I get this big cheeseburger, fries, and that was good. It was actually really good. But I was like, you know what? I don't trust that dinner tonight. I'm going to be disappointed by it. I need to eat more now so that tonight, if I don't like the food, like, I'm not starving. This is my thought. So then I order an acai bowl, which is like this, big. So big cheeseburger, fries, acai bowl. Ooh, I'm good. Honestly, it was like 10 US bucks. Super cheap. So I'm the guy who does the $10 cheap, quick cafe food hours before a 6-course fine dining meal on the beach by 2 world-renowned Brazilian chefs. That's your boy. Louis. I talked to Louis at 9 a.m. Louis double dipping this morning, 9 a.m. and 11. You can't spoil things this morning.
What is acai bowl?
It's kind of like a fruit bowl. How would you guys describe acai bowl? There we go, smoothie bowl. Yeah, it's like a smoothie, and then you can put like strawberries, bananas, blueberries. Louis, you and I will do an acai bowl, okay? You pay. Jesus invited himself to meals, and then he made other people cook. It was an amazing thing. Just be like your rabbi. All right, so we're beginning annual fall tradition, Seek Week. Here's what I want us to do this morning. I want to talk to you about hunger. I want to talk to you about craving good food. I want to talk to you about quick, cheap food. And I want to talk to you about fine dining. One of the most common, and I would say rich metaphors in the scriptures, and it's there in the Old Testament even before you get to the New, it's all over the place, is that God's people are to hunger and to thirst after him like we do with food and drink. And so Seek Week this year, there's always kind of like a theme to Seek Week. This year, I want us as a corporate church to almost kind of like whet our appetites, to curate our taste buds, to crave, to be hungry for the presence, the power, and the love of God. I want us to rekindle and to reawaken our appetites for God. Put simply, all that to say, I just want us to go after God with everything we have and to be so hungry for him. This is Seek Week 2025. With that said, I can't think of a better, more fitting passage of Scripture to go to than Psalm 63. So if you have a Bible, turn to Psalm 63. This is going to be our anchor passage with this posture of hungering and thirsting and craving the presence of God, to seek after him. So King David writes this. If you need a Bible this morning, page 394 in the free Bibles underneath your chairs. I'm going to read straight from that, page 394. Here we go. You, God, are my God. Earnestly I seek you. Right? So it's Seek Week. There we go. Seek. I thirst for you. My whole being longs for you in a dry and parched land where there is no water. I've seen you in the sanctuary. I've beheld your power and your glory because your love is better than life. My lips will glorify you. And I will praise you as long as I live. And in your name I will lift up my hands. And I will be fully satisfied as with the richest of foods. With singing lips my mouth will praise you. On my bed, I remember you. I think of you through the watches of the night because you are my help. I sing in the shadow of your wings and I cling to you. Your right hand upholds me. And then I want to read one more translation just to get at this. So there's, some of you know the Message. It's a modern day paraphrase. It's not literal, but Eugene puts things in great kind of poetic 21st century language. So here's how he translates Psalm 63. God, you're my God. I can't get enough of you. I've worked up such hunger and thirst for you, God, traveling across dry and weary deserts. I'm thinking about desserts. So here I am in the place of worship, eyes open, drinking in your strength and glory, and in your generous love, I am really living at last. My lips brim praises like fountains. I bless you every time I take a breath. My arms wave like banners of praise to you. And here's my boy right here. I eat my fill of prime rib and gravy, and I smack my lips. Mwah, 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 mwah. It's time to shout some praises. You hungry, Rahul? Dude, let's do another steak. This guy made me a steak like 4 weeks ago. It was amazing. All right. One of the things, probably for like the last 3 years, that's constantly in my mind, that like, honestly, I wrestle with this one. It's this. And you can Google this. There's something called the Global South. And sociologists, the Global South is pretty much all of Latin America, Africa, and Asia. The Global South is experiencing a huge movement of God. Like Christianity is exploding in Africa. It's exploding in China. It's exploding in Latin America. Like they can't explain, it's just booming. And that is in direct contrast to what you could call the global north, which is actually us, America, Europe, Australia, and Canada, the Western world, if you will. And then in the Western world, I mean, Christianity at best is actually like stagnant. And more so in Europe and Australia and Canada, it is severely decreasing and has been for decades. I mean, this isn't anything new. But what has always got at me that I've always wondered about, why is the global south, why is it exploding? Like, what does the global south have that we don't? Like, why is Christianity taking off there? I mean, this is the question I've been asking. Like, what's the secret? What's the formula? Most people, I think, like want to see a move of God. It's not like people are like, yeah, I don't want to see God move. No, we want to see God move. So what's the answer? Why is it happening there and not here? I think it's one word. Hunger. Hunger. You know, it's much easier to be hungry when you have nothing. And not even just physically, but also spiritually. It's much easier to be hungry for God when spiritually things aren't going well. It is a whole other thing to be hungry when you already have food. It's a whole other thing to be hungry for God when you live a pretty comfortable life. And that, I think, is the difference between the global south and global north. Why is the church exploding in Latin America and Asia and Africa? They don't have anything. And they are just hungry for God. That's it. Now back to Psalm 63. We look at this song, this poem by King David. And at least for me, I kind of imagine him, so he uses phrases like this, right? Like, your love is better than life. Earnestly I seek after you. My whole body longs for you. Like these very poetic, wonderful, big statements. And if you're anything like me, I'm like, oh, okay, like, yeah, David's probably like in our world today. I mean, this wasn't him, but like I could see him maybe writing these words, singing these words, like, back on a beach chair, looking at the sunset with like a margarita in his hand, or, he's on vacation. It's like, oh God, you're so good. Like, man, your love is better than life, God. Like everything's good now. Or he's a king, so maybe it's like David just had like an epic battle. Israel wins, he conquered more land. Everything's great, and he's just like that celebrity or that athlete, right, who gets interviewed after they win the championship. What do they say? Oh, God is so good. Which, like, I'm not like doubting that, like, okay, fine, but like, do you ever hear the losing player say that? Right? Or someone wins an Oscar. Oh, I just first want to give thanks to God. Again, I'm not making fun of that. I'm just saying, like, yeah, life's great for you. It's interesting, you look at Psalm 63. Someone who has their Bible open, look at it. You see the title of Psalm 63, and it says a Psalm of David. What is the next line in that subtitle? Someone say it out loud. Boom. He was in the desert of Judah. Oh, okay. Why is King David in the desert? Anybody know? Boom. Louis. No spoiling things. We talked about this. But you're still paying for the acai bowl. So David is in the desert. He's in the wilderness. Now, Middle East, it's hot and it's dry. This ain't good. And he's getting chased by King Saul, who wants to kill him. And this isn't a one-day thing. This is going on probably for close to a decade. It's in that environment, hot, dry, someone trying to kill you, that David says, you, God, are my God. Earnestly I seek you. I thirst for you. My whole being longs for you. Here it is, in a dry and parched land where there is no water. Someone's trying to kill me, but I'm still going to say, your love is better than life. My lips will glorify you. I will praise you as long as I live, and it's in your name that I will lift up my hands, and I will be fully satisfied as with the riches of food. You're like, David doesn't have it. He's in a cave. With singing lips, my mouth will praise you. We don't talk about that context in Psalm 63. See, hunger for God, like craving, passionately desiring, longing, seeking after God, is actually way easier in bad times than it is in good times. It's very rare that in good times, when you're comfortable, that God teaches and forms you. At least for myself. It's actually what? It's in the bad times, it's in the deserts, it's in the valleys, that what? What happens? It's growth, lessons, hunger, passion for God is often cultivated and kindled in the struggle. That is what it was for King David. So, why is God doing such a crazy work in Africa and Asia and South America? Because they're hungry for him. Pastor John Tyson, he said something that's kind of gone viral within the pastoral world in the last year or two. It's a simple phrase, I love it. It's this: God comes where he's wanted. God comes where he's wanted. Want to see a move of God? Be hungry for him. And here's the alarming thing. This isn't comfortable to say, but that's why we as Americans are actually at a significant spiritual disadvantage if we're not careful. Because it's really easy for us to think that we have everything we need. We got food. Life's comfortable for the most part. So let's just be real. The phrase that David says, your love is better than life. I think we say that way too easy. That's a big statement. Your love is better than life. Like the last couple of days, I'm thinking about this. It's actually pretty convicting for me. Because if I'm honest, and I mean what I say, and I think sometimes we say stuff that we don't mean, but if I'm really taking seriously words and phrases like that, your love is better than life, I actually don't think I really believe that. Maybe instead I want to say, man, like an international vacation, that's it, that's better than life. Oh, sleeping 8 hours a night, maybe 9, that's better than life. glorious, passionate sex, that's better than life. If my sports team wins the World Series, that's better than life. It is way harder, if you're being honest, to say to God, your love is better than life. God, I earnestly seek after you. Lord, I long for you with my whole body. I ache for you. I'm earnestly seeking you. It's hard to say that when we already have everything we need. Or at least we have everything that we think we need. But here's what happens. Because we think that we have everything that we need, what happens then with the human psyche is that we are such craving and longing and aching creatures. Like you were made to desire, you were made to want something. And so you think, oh, my life's pretty comfortable, I got good things. So what happens is your heart then ends up going to other things to try to satisfy and to fulfill you. Things like sex, things like money, things like power, things like prestigious job titles, things like ambition, things like if you're a parent with young kids, you vicariously live through your kids and their extracurricular activities in school to make yourself feel good and to satisfy you and to fulfill you. Or if you're dating someone, you turn your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife, or your husband, whoever it is, you turn them into a mini God to fulfill and satisfy, and you put everything into them, and it absolutely crushes them, and it'll end up crushing you, and it never satisfies and fulfills you. But this is what we do. And what's interesting is that we hunger and long for the dream vacation, the perfect job, our son or daughter just crushing it at something because we think those things will make us happy. Come on, God. Your love isn't really better than life. Oh, God, you're going to disappoint me. I mean, come on, Mark, let's be real. God's love isn't really better than like a dreamy vacation on the beach or a fine dining experience. This is the human psyche. And here's what happens. There's this nugget passage, Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 5. Let's go there real quick. This is in the Old Testament. This is gold right here. I think Jeremiah 2 describes what many of us have done. It's this. This is what the Lord says. What fault did your ancestors find in me, that they strayed so far from me? They followed worthless idols and became worthless themselves. And now go to verse 11. Has a nation ever changed its gods? Yet they are not gods at all. But my people have exchanged their glorious God for worthless idols. And now the next two verses are, listen to this language. Be appalled at this, you heavens, and shudder with great horror, declares the Lord. My people have committed two sins. They have forsaken me, the what? The spring of living water. And have dug their own cisterns. Cisterns it's like a water storage container. Broken cisterns that cannot hold water. Our problem, my problem, your problem isn't that you have longings and cravings and passions and desires. No. God actually created you to have very strong passions. We are not like brains on sticks. We are desiring creatures. That's not the problem. The problem is that we take those passions and those cravings and those desires, and instead of pointing them towards God, who ultimately and truly satisfies us, we turn them and we point them towards other things, which in the end are actually cheap alternatives that don't truly satisfy us. We've done two things. We've forsaken the God who has wells of spring water. We've abandoned that, and then we've gone to broken cisterns, which can't even hold water. So back to the hotel, because I know you guys wanted me to go back to it. See, you see that? What I got you guys hanging there, right? This is communication. So I come back, cheeseburger, fries, acai bowl stuffed in my stomach, and now I can go into the fine dining experience. I'm good to go. If it's bad, I'm already full. We get dressed up, go down, sit down, candles on the table. You know, the little paper's already there with like the 6 lines describing each course. And I'm like, yeah, do I want to look at it? First course comes out. I had to write down what it was. Parmesan bread with black Angus corn and aioli. And I took one bite of that thing, and I was like, oh my gosh. This is so good. But we haven't gotten to the catch of the day part. So I'm like, yeah, this is just the starter. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to go downhill. Like, I'll give me some carbs, of course. But like, yeah, you get that seafood stuff. I ain't touching that. And then I read it comes with coconut foam on top. Amazing. Then they bring us what your boy likes. Brazilian sun-dried beef with crispy onions and cheese. Oh, and at that point, I just burst out screaming Psalm 63. Eugene Peterson, I'm smacking my lips. We're not done, though. You know what courses 5 and 6 were? I've only had one dessert before. I've never before been at a meal where they have, literally it was called this on the paper, pre-dessert and dessert. Pre-dessert. Are you serious? I don't know which one was better. They were both, I'm like, the pre-dessert was just as good as the dessert. By the end of that meal, first of all, I think like I had to push my chair back, my stomach, the cheeseburger, acai, and there was all those things in there. I was so full and satisfied. And I was like, I will praise you as long as I live. And in your name, I will lift up my hands, and I will be as fully satisfied as with the richest of foods. With singing lips, my mouth will praise you. And then you know what I had to do to Rachel next? And I knew it was coming. So, what did you think of the food? And I had to confess that I was absolutely wrong. I had doubted the goodness of that food. I didn't think it was going to be good, but in every single element of that meal was absolutely amazing. And so I was like, hey, you got me. I was so wrong on this. I wasn't disappointed. Man, why did I doubt this? Of course you were right, all this other stuff. And so what I did, I went to a cheap $10 surf cafe, cheeseburger, acai bowl, and fries, when hours later, I had waiting for me a gourmet Brazilian chef 6-course fine dining experience. How foolish of me. This is what many of us do with our desires, cravings, and longings and passions for God. We don't actually really believe that His love is better than life. And so here's what we do. Because we don't want God to disappoint us, we then go to other quick, cheap, false alternatives to be filled up. And the problem is, those things don't actually really satisfy us nearly as much as if we do a fine dining experience with the Creator of the heavens. And so we go to cheaper alternatives because we think that He's going to disappoint us. Cue that famous C.S. Lewis quote. You guys have heard me say this before. But I mean, at least for me, like, this takes on like a whole, like I feel like I understand what he's saying more now. It would seem that our Lord finds our desires not too strong, but too weak. We are half-hearted creatures, fooling about with drink and sex and ambition when infinite joy is offered to us. Like an ignorant child who wants to go on making mud pies, that would be mud, Think of a Kenya slum. Some of us have been there. Making mud in a Kenyan slum because he cannot imagine what is meant by the offer of a holiday at the sea. We are far too easily pleased. So if God comes where he's wanted, meaning God comes to those who are hungry for him, people who crave and desire and long and ache for him. But then most of us here in America aren't that hungry for God because we're caught up in a bunch of other cheaper alternatives that don't truly ultimately fulfill and satisfy us. This begs this question then. How do we cultivate hunger for God in our comfortable lives today? That's the question. How do we cultivate hunger for God in our, broadly speaking, comfortable lives today? Because remember this, it's easy to be hungry when there's no food in front of you. It is much harder to be hungry when there's tons of different things vying for your heart. And this is exactly what Seek Week is all about. It is about us intentionally cultivating, forming, directing our hungers and passions and desires to God because God comes where he's wanted. 2 practical steps for us. 2 things for you. Here's the first one, because again, the question is this: how do we cultivate hunger for God? The first one is this: get near the fire, get near the flame. What do I mean? Who you hang out with, or who you spend time with, you become like. If you want to get hungry for God, you need to be with others who are hungry for him. If you want to be hungry for God, you got to be with people who are also hungry. Let me give you an analogy that's pretty straightforward. If you're camping, you're outside and it's cold, what do? Thank you, Peggy. Light a fire. What do you do with the fire? Do you stand away from the fire or near the fire? Yeah, you go near the flame to get warm. It'd be foolish to make a fire when you're cold and then not to get near to it. This isn't just a camping fire thing. This isn't just a human spiritual thing. This is actually just a basic life thing in the sense of sociologists tell us, right? Like whoever you hang out with, whoever you spend time with, you will become. This is why we have words like tribe. Like who's your tribe? Your tribe isn't people who aren't like you. Your tribe is people who are just like you. I learn a lot from my kids. So my 7-year-old son, Parker, loves sports. He's very athletic, plays 2 main sports right now, baseball and basketball. And it's fascinating. Now, I love both. I was better at baseball than I was basketball, but I like basketball more. But anyways, I'm like trying to push Parker towards baseball because, you know, the dude, he's not going to be 6'5". So it's just like, your odds are better at baseball, bro. And like just being honest, self-awareness is everything. And it's interesting. So he played basketball like the last 3 months. So during basketball season, where he's practicing every week, games every Saturday, which sport do you think Parker liked more during that, basketball or baseball? Basketball, of course. Basketball season ended. Then about a week and a half ago, we started baseball. Now it's coming back. What sport do you think Parker's now a little bit more into now that he's playing baseball? Baseball. I mean, it's a roller coaster. And it's all completely dependent upon which one is he practicing and doing. Now, the bad news is that the dude broke his arm on Friday. I know. It's pretty crushing. Literally, it was crushing. And that's a whole other thing. But I'll stop there. Here's my point. If you want to be hungry for God, go get near the fire. If you don't want to be hungry, that's a whole other discussion, right? But like, if you're sitting here like, oh, well, Mark, I want that, but like, I can't do it. Like, yeah, just go near the fire. And it's interesting. Sometimes I think we actually almost overvalue our feelings in our culture in that we don't want to be fake, right? So it's like, because there's the whole phrase, fake it till you make it. I actually think there's some truth to that in the sense of, if I waited to do something until my feelings were there, well, a couple things. A, I would never go to the gym then. I don't want to go to the gym. I go to the gym even when I don't want to, but what happens afterwards? Oh, I'm like ready to go, like, I'm gonna go pick up a car now. So like, I'm ready to go. Sometimes you gotta get near the fire and you have to let it warm your cold and calloused heart for you then to crave the presence and love and power of God. This is one reason why we're doing our worship and prayer night, Tuesday night, 6:30 right here. The invitation is, come get near the fire. You want more of God? Surround yourself with people who are so desperate and so hungry for Him. And in some mysterious way, it's almost like their faith is going to carry over. And it will change you. Get near the fire. Come to our worship and prayer night, a day and a half from now. We want you. And man, the last one, honestly, it was epic. Like there was encores happening. It was amazing. Second point, I gotta move on. Play the long game. What do I mean by play the long game? It's not an actual game. What I mean by that is deep, sustained devotion. Deep, sustained devotion. We live in a culture of immediacy. We live in a culture that prizes the quick, the instant, cheap fix. I call it, we live in a microwave culture, and God lives in a crock pot world. We want the microwave food, and sometimes God does microwave food. Like He can do things right away. But more often than not, God does a far better and deeper work using a crock pot. Or let's go back to the camping and fire analogy. How do people love to start fires now, right? You go to the store and you buy those quick fix Duraflame logs that are like soaked in gasoline that all you have to do is like breathe on it and the flames come up. Like that's my type of fire. Yeah. You don't got to do any work. It's amazing. It's amazing. I just take the paper off, boom, light a match, and there it goes. And it's a big fire right away. Do those ultimately end up lasting? No. If you want a real fire that's consuming, you got to do it the right way. Small dry wood, kindling, the way you structure it so that the oxygen can get in. And then what's the goal of that? Well, two things. You got to keep feeding it. But you want hot coals to develop. Because what happens if there's hot coals? You can put anything on a hot coal and it's going to burn, and it will burn for hours. We live in a culture that wants the Duraflame quick fix logs, and we do the exact same thing with our spirituality. We prize the quick, emotional, spiritual dopamine hit, but it doesn't last long because we haven't properly fed and ordered our lives. You have to arrange your life if you want to be on fire for Jesus. And then I see this so much as a pastor, and it breaks my heart. I see people who have this huge spiritual dopamine hit, an amazing encounter with God, which I totally believe is true and real. But what happens is something then happens in their life a week later. All gone. And they lose the faith. And then even more sad, what happens is sometimes then they blame God. God, why did you take away that emotional feeling? Where'd you go? And we actually end up blaming God. And then we become more cynical about faith and we walk away. God didn't go anywhere. It's just you experience this quick high. And life is not a quick high. It's a hot coal fire that you constantly have to fuel and burn. The point of Seek Week is this. It is not to create a spiritual high for 7 days. And then after that, next week we're back to normal. Like if that's how we approach it, we've approached it wrong. And I've done something wrong as a leader. The point of Seek Week is to curate habits and rhythms that help you play the long game with your passion for God. Seek Week is a rekindling to get the fire going back. Seek Week is a gym workout that leads to habits that lead to sustained life transformation. Like, I always find it, I don't ever say anything, but inside my mind, someone will tell me or whatever, Like, oh, I lost like 7 pounds in 1 week. And when I hear that, inside I'm just kind of like, okay, well, great, but that's not a sustainable rhythm. Or like you get someone who goes to the gym in January and they're in there for 1 week, and what happens? They don't see results right away, and so because they don't see results, they quit. It doesn't work like that. It takes months, years, and it's habits and rhythms that lead to life-sustainable transformation. And so part of Seek Week isn't just the worship and prayer night on Tuesday. It's actually all the daily devotionals. And so if you take out this white card right now, there's 2 things to scan that are speaking the language that I'm talking about right now in terms of playing the long game. 1, scan the one on the right for daily devotionals. The whole point of these isn't just devotionals. It's actually way deeper than that. It's to build rhythms and habits in your life that rekindle, that reawaken, that whet your appetite to hunger and crave and long and ache for the presence of God in your everyday life. That's the point. Now, if you really want to get to what I'm going to call the boiler room, you go to the prayer room, which is actually right behind this wall. That's what the QR code is on the left. We have a prayer room. We set up a bunch of days and hours this week. It's like if you want to go to the boiler room, like Peggy and Wayne, you guys have been in the boiler room. By the way, Peggy and Wayne are people, you want to get near the fire, go hang out with Peggy and Wayne. These people constantly pray and fast, and the joy of the Lord is on them. Doesn't mean their life's easy. They've gone through hard stuff. But they're satisfied by the Spirit of God when they're in the desert of Judah. Sign up for the prayer room. These are habits and rhythms to taste, to reawaken. It's to get one of those courses of that fine dining meal for, oh my gosh, this is actually so good. Oh, I realize that this is so good. What? Man, that other stuff that I'm going to is cheap. Why am I wasting my money there? Yeah, exactly. You've been going to a broken cistern when you have the living God who offers you fresh geyser water. This is why we do Seek Week. They'll help your spiritual taste buds come alive to desiring God. Early church father Augustine said this: our hearts are restless until they rest in thee. You are made to crave, and your craving will never be met until you direct it to Jesus. So here's what I want to ask you. Are you hungry for God? Are you honestly, passionately seeking after him? And I'm talking passionately seeking after him. Do you long for him? Do you really act like, not just believe, but do you act like, yeah, God, your love is better than life? Can you join King David in his words in Psalm 63 and say, God, you are my God. Earnestly I seek you. I thirst for you. My whole being longs for you in a dry and parched land where there is no water, because your love is better than life. My lips will glorify you. I will praise you as long as I live. And in your name I will lift up my hands. I will be fully satisfied as with the richest of foods. With singing lips my mouth will praise you. Will you join us in Seek Week 2025. I want to invite up the band. But as they're doing that, I want to read this for you. John Tyson, who I referenced, he said this, we'll put up on the screen. If God comes where he's wanted, the most dangerous and potent prayer that you can pray in a secular culture is, God, we want you here. You want to live in a dangerous, adventurous life? Pray, God, I want you here. God, I want you in my heart. God, I want you in my family. I want you in my house. I want you in my neighborhood. I want you on my baseball team. I want you on the soccer field. I want you in my school. I want you in my workforce. I want you in the barber shop. I want you in Chino. I want you in Eastvale. I want you in Chino Hills. God, I want you here. God, we want you here in the bridge. God comes where he's wanted. Do we want to see a move of God like they're seeing across the world in Latin America, Africa, and Asia, when we have to want him? A.W. Tozer, I'll end with this quote, the book, The Pursuit of God. Complacency is a deadly foe of all spiritual growth. Acute desire must be present, or there will be no manifestation of Christ to his people. He waits to be wanted. Too bad that with many of us, he waits so long, so very long, in vain. Right now, as you're breathing in and out, the God of the universe is waiting for you to want him. And he will wait, and he will wait, and wait, and wait. Remember, God's more like a crock pot than he is a microwave. And he waits, and he wants you to want him. Not because he's some giant divine narcissist, but because he's the fountain of living water. He says, your desires are too weak. I'm the only one that's actually going to fulfill you. Want me, I'm going to fill you, but I only come to those who want me. So this morning, if you're new to the Bridge, we celebrate corporate communion the first Sunday of each month. We have 4 stations. In about a minute or two, I'll invite up elders and deacons to hand out the elements. By the way, if you're here, you're not a Christian, we're just so glad you're here. There's zero pressure, zero judgment for you to come up here. We're cool. We're just glad you're here. As I was thinking about communion this morning, I mean, what a powerful truth and symbol. We take the cup, which satisfies the thirst. We take the bread, which satisfies the hunger. And of course, the bread stands for the sacrificial body of Jesus, and the cup stands for his poured out blood for the forgiveness of sins, meaning this. What we're going to eat and drink symbolically portrays that only he satisfies our hungers and our thirsts. It is only what Jesus has done on the cross, that his love is better than life. Jesus so loves us that he gave up his life so that we could have life. His love is better than life. And when we take communion, what we're symbolically doing is saying that, man, only God can nourish me. He's like the real good stuff that my body needs, not these cheap alternatives that I've been going to. And then one other thing. I hope that this hotel in Brazil isn't listening to our live stream right now. I highly doubt they are. You know that they never charged me for that 6-course fine dining meal? Here's the point. What Jesus offers you is absolutely free. It comes at no cost for you. It cost him his life. So he says, come. Eat, drink, the richest of foods. Come, all who are hungry, come. Here I am. It's free. You just got to come. And that's also what communion is. It's free. Salvation is a gift of God. He picks up the tab. I want to invite forward our ushers and deacons. You can just come to whatever station is closest to you. If there's another line that gets shorter, you can hop in that line so you can speed things up. Band's going to lead us in 2 songs. There's going to be a prayer team up on both sides. After you're done with communion, go get prayed for. Like, again, get near the fire. That's what prayer is. Letting God meet you through a human being and getting near to the fire. So let's come forward and receive the elements and worship Jesus.